Legendary film critics Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert didn't review the classic Western movie Tombstone when it was first released, and it was only because of Val Kilmer that they ever saw it at all. Tombstone was a smash hit when it was released in 1993. It made $56 million domestically at the box office, via Box Office Mojo, and it earned a Rotten Tomatoes critics score of 74%. Interestingly, however, Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert didn't contribute to Tombstone's critical reception until over a month after the film was released. Tombstone was first released on Christmas Day in 1993, but Siskel and Ebert didn't review it until February 5, 1994. Instead, their 1993 Christmas episode focused on forgotten films like Heaven and Earth and Grumpy Old Men. It's strange that the two most prominent film critics of the 1990s didn't review one of the best westerns of the 1990s until a full month after it was released, but there's a fairly simple reason for it. There's also a very simple reason Siskel and Ebert ended up reviewing Tombstone, and his name is Val Kilmer. The studio didn't have much confidence in Tombstone. Tombstone Studio didn't give Siskel and Ebert an advanced screening because they thought critics would hate the movie. The reason Siskel and Ebert didn't review Tombstone in time for its December 25, 1993 release date is because they couldn't watch it. As Ebert explained, the studio behind Tombstone never gave them access to an advanced screening, so they couldn't watch it until it was out in theaters. By that point, the critics were already preparing for their end-of-year review and new January releases. Evidently, Siskel and Ebert didn't get access to an advanced screening because the studio thought Tombstone was going to fail with critics. Via Siskel and Ebert, Tombstone was produced by Hollywood Pictures, a label of the Walt Disney Company, and Synergy Pictures and distributed by Buena Vista Pictures, and it seems none of the companies involved had much faith in the Western. Tombstone also had a notoriously difficult development that was filled with reshoots and rewrites, so that probably didn't help with the studio's confidence either. In the end, however, the studios were wrong, and Tombstone went down as one of the best Western movies ever made. Praise for Val Kilmer's performance convinced Siskel and Ebert they had to see Tombstone. Even Bill Clinton praised Val Kilmer, which inspired Siskel and Ebert to review it. When they couldn't get an advanced screening of the movie, Siskel and Ebert essentially gave up on Tombstone. Due to the show's schedule and Tombstone's end-of-year release date, there was no point in reviewing a movie that would already have been out for weeks. It was only after Roger Ebert heard constant praise for Val Kilmer's performance as Doc Holliday that the duo decided to give Tombstone another chance. It makes sense that Val Kilmer would be the thing to grab Siskel and Ebert's attention. Kilmer's take on Doc Holliday is often considered one of the best acting performances in the entire Western genre. There are so many great Doc Holliday quotes, and most of the best scenes in Tombstone involve or explicitly focus on document Kilmer's performance turned Tombstone from a great Western into a timeless classic, so it's only natural that it also convinced Siskel and Ebert to give the movie a second chance. What Siskel and Ebert thought about Tombstone. Siskel gave Tombstone a narrow thumbs down, but Ebert gave it a resounding thumbs up. Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert's verdict for Tombstone. Siskel gave a thumbs down, Ebert a thumbs up. Once they actually got their hands on it, Siskel and Ebert's review of Tombstone was fairly praiseworthy. Though Siskel gave Tombstone a thumbs down and Ebert gave it a thumbs up, both critics said they enjoyed parts of the film. Both Siskel and Ebert had nothing but praise for Val Kilmer's performance as Doc Holliday and for William A. Fraker's cinematography, but Siskel also criticized Kurt Russell for having a somewhat inconsistent performance as Wyatt Epp. Ebert, on the other hand, found the movie so engrossing that he said the action scenes actually slowed down the interpersonal drama between the cast of Tombstone. Despite the fact both critics found parts of Tombstone that they loved, Siskel ended up giving the movie a thumbs down. Siskel said that he enjoyed parts of it, but not enough to recommend it. It should also be noted that of all the films they reviewed in their February 5, 1994, episode, both Siskel and Ebert called Tombstone their favorite by a wide margin. Though it may not have gotten Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert to agree, Tombstone certainly left an impression on both the famed film critics and cinema as a whole.